Hello everyone, this is Alien Reddit Stories, where I read alien stories off of Reddit. I will leave the link for every video in the description. Let's just get into it. Around 1981, I was a kid in rural Montgomery County. It was a particularly clear day, and I was playing in front of the lawn of my neighbor's house with my brother, Pat. My dad was an Indiana State Trooper at the time, and I think that's relevant because we had spent plenty of time around helicopters by that stage in our lives. Yes. Salute to your dad. I knew that things that could hover in place made a lot of noise and wind, and I knew what they should look like. My brother and I looked up over the left side of the roof of my neighbor's house, and we saw two silver saucers. I thought you were going to say silver surfer there for a second, but I digress. They were slow. Man, could you imagine two silver surfers? My God. Sorry. I'm completely distracted here. They were slowly rotating. We were perhaps 300 feet away. That's like, 100 meters to you non-Americans? Sir, I'm your neighbor. I know your measurements. We use both, all right? But we also use the metric system because the whole world does, and only you in Liberia don't. So don't act like we're the weird ones, all right? But I digress. One was slightly higher than the other, maybe overlapping just a tad. We watched them for a few minutes, just sitting there. This was a perfectly clear, sunny day. After some time, they both accelerated to a ridiculous speed toward the east. We ran inside and told my parents, honestly, it was so effing insane that if my brother hadn't have been there, and if my parents didn't recall us freaking out over these, I'd had assumed I dreamt it. I dreamed it in this case, but he meant dreamt. But I digress. So that's part of it. That's the part that is undeniable. Okay, well, that's a pretty stark note there. But I digress. Here's the other part. I had what I still like to think of as a dream. A lot of dream-like feelings in these stories, but I digress. I was walking along a walkway in a dark room. On the floor of the sides of this walkway were holes in the floor. I recall thinking that things must live down in these. Right, literally a rabbit hole, aren't they? I accidentally dropped my blanket down in one of these. This is important later. To the right and in front of me was a bright area, lots of light. I recall some people or beings, but I can't recall what they looked like. What I really remember is how they made me feel. I was scared, and I was the center of attention. Like all my dreams, really. Yeah, most people are the center of attention of their dreams, all right? It is your experience, but I digress. A part I usually omit was that they did put something in my butt. Yikes. And I remember feeling extremely humiliated at this. Understandable. I don't remember exactly what it looked like, but I also remembered it as sort of a tail feather, like a rooster. Haha. I think maybe it had wires running out of it, but it had a lot of going on. I really don't like mentioning that part, really. But it seemed like aliens enjoy doing, and is relevant here. I also haven't ever actually wrote any of this down, and if I'm going to do it, I'm not leaving anything out. You know what, we're going to need a thorough, quite thorough explanation here, but I digress. So I woke from my dream in my bed without my blanket. I was a little kid. This would be like losing your cell phone today. The blanket, this sounds a little like little white trash, had a burn mark on it. What? My mom accidentally burnt it with a cigarette. Yeah, okay. I admit it. Hey, man. Other people smoke cigarettes too. It's not just white trash, all right? Calm down, all right? I like the texture of that spot, so I remember this blanket well. We looked everywhere for that blanket. Our house was small, had no basement, and I have no history of sleepwalking. We had to buy another blanket, this time in blue, but same thing. My mom even burnt the spot back on it. Oh, come on, Mom, really? What if you light the whole blanket off? What if you light your house on fire, Mom? Mom, stop passing out on the chair with cigarettes, all right? For God's sake. But I digress. God damn it. I live in Indiana. Lay off me. Oh, sorry. My bad, all right? This part, I've been to Indiana. It is a great state. Crazy as hell people, though, man. But I digress. This part, I still really prefer to think of as a dream. And I'd ended there. But the reality is I dropped my blanket in this dream. I awoke, and it was gone. I still have the replacement all these years later. I think it was 1997 or 1998. Mexico City. They had an enormous UFO sighting. Yeah, you know what? I do recall those. Tens of thousands witnessed these. Oh yeah, I remember those. I definitely remember those. Yeah, that was horrific. Why does these events just completely leave your mind as soon as they're over? My God. But I digress. Tens of thousands witnessed these things in broad daylight. What I saw were identical to those saucers. Oh my God, I remember those. Yeah. Oh, if you need a visual, Google her up. Google her. That is hilarious. I'm fully aware of how absolutely effing ridiculous all this sounds. It's not, sir. It's really not. I know it's a little too cookie cutter. It is pretty cookie cutter. But I'd give anything to prove if I could. It was the most amazing thing that's happened to me. Well, up until my first trip to a booby bar. Come on, buddy. Anyway. That was a very interesting story. And I appreciate you for sharing it. Next time, leave out the solicitous stuff there. All right, my friend. This is a PG channel. And here at Alien Read a Story, we're trying to have universal appeal. All right. However, leave it in next time too, because it's kind of hilarious. That being said, if you made it this far, go ahead and hit the Alien subscribe button, press the Reddit like button, and go ahead and press the stories bell button for all of the up notifications. I'm trying to grow this channel, so if you could do me that would be solid. If not, don't worry, okay? You don't owe me your time and you don't owe me a subscription, all right? I'm not one of those bloodthirsty, give me mine type of people, all right? But if you do and you decide to spend some time with me here, I would really appreciate it. I'll leave the link for the description. I will leave my email address in the description so you could send me a story if you feel to, and I'll see you next time on Alien Reddit Stories.